Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play as karmic themes to help you understand why you're attracting who you're attracting, why your person's doing what they're doing, why, why are you getting triggered? A lot of times we get stuck ruminating. Now, don't get me wrong, we understand what the person did because we were in that situation. We don't understand why they did what they did. We don't understand why we attract people a lot of times that do things that hurt us. And so that is what keeps us stuck and ruminating. So when we're doing shadow readings, at least even if the relationship's not going to work out, you can see how you contributed to the imbalances, what is the karmic theme that continues to play out within your life, and how you can actually shape shift the energy, because you're the main thing in your relationships, obviously. And so when we're stuck in a karmic loop, it just means we keep attracting the same type of person. We keep living the same experiences that keep us stuck in a place of limitation. And that could be, the person makes me feel not good enough, the person makes me feel not seen, whatever the karmic theme is. And we don't want to stay in a connection like that. And believe it or not, we can make that person see us differently. It doesn't mean it's easy, but we would have to do something different. It's not about talking, it's about the action. It's about embodying the new consciousness, because healing isn't just about, I healed that, I forgave, I let go. It's actually about seeing a different version of yourself and the experience. And until we see that, that karmic loop will continue to play out, just with different people. Depends on, they say, the karmic contract, how many, we get every 13 years, every 7 years, every 6 years, whatever the karmic, contract is. Look at me trying to put another fucking glasses on. Get grounded, Alice. Get grounded. This is what happens when you do too many readings. I'm on late because I was busy today. And I'm not hungry. I'm just not. It's too hot and it's... Anyway. Let's see what the underlying energy is. My dog came in to visit. All right. The underlining word is merciless forgiveness. I don't like that card. And you know why? It means that it's like the person doesn't really deserve forgiveness. It means it's a hard card. It means that the person doesn't deserve it, like I said. But it's something that we have to do. We have to be able to let go and heal in order for us to actually be abundant. Because there's only two energies, love and fear, and you have to be in the energy of love. And so when you're holding on to resentment or anger, so when you're holding on, you know what happens? The universe then brings you a past life karmic mate, because it means that you need to learn a lesson. So you got to be careful. Let's see what this is. Hostility. Yeah, because it's like person doesn't deserve to be forgiven. And the hostility is that this person actually has hostility towards you because you're holding their feet to the fire. And what they see is you're not playing around. And you're really not playing around at this stage of the game. And the reason why is because you're like, no, because you see that I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to create something. I'm like my stability. You don't worry about me. You don't worry about my emotional well-being. You don't worry about my financial well-being. You don't worry about me. And so, you feel like I said, not seen. Now, I don't know what this person did, but we're going to see what they did. But what it is like that, again, the person doesn't deserve to be forgiven because, first of all, if they're looking at you like you're the problem, when you're like, no, I'm just holding a boundary. And I'm holding a boundary because you refuse to acknowledge what you do. And so it could be a great relationship that actually turns really sour because of like the person's in their ego. So let's see what they did. It's again like forgotten. You felt like invisible. Like I was saying, like you didn't matter. Just taken for granted. Like you're always going to be there. You're always going to have feelings. Whatever this person gave, that you were going to like accept. And this person, like this card, doesn't even belong in the deck, and it says obstacles, where I feel like unnecessary obstacles. And blamed. Like the thing is, every time you would like create a boundary, every time you would call this person out on what they would do, it became all about that and not actually about what this person did. So they never wanted to be accountable. So it all became down to like, well, you're the problem. Like you make such a big deal over everything. It's like, I am here, I am giving you, but you could feel when a person is really there and when they're like just kind of going through the motions and not really giving you the time or the energy. And like I said, this person likes to party a lot too. So in the fact that they like to party, they just kept the relationship really unfair. Like it was really all about their needs, really all about what they wanted. And so, you call them out on it, they're not going to acknowledge. They're going to not give you an apology. They're not going to acknowledge. Why? Because if I acknowledge it, then I have to change my behavior. And I don't really want to change my behavior because I'm comfortable. The irony here is not that I don't feel like this person has feelings. The irony is I feel like this person does have feelings. They just happen to like to be very comfortable. They like to have everything their way. And they don't want to be called out on what they do and how they do it. And so that's the thing. It's like, you're like, you want me to forgive you. Well, why do you want me to forgive you? Why? You want to treat me like shit? Why? Like is that's first and foremost. It's like, why all of a sudden? And why do I have to let go? And why are you having trouble forgiving? So understand what we are experiencing is a part of a larger collective clearing. So I feel like on a spiritual level, a lot of people are going through this. I don't think that this person is saying this to you, right? They're not saying that, but what it is like we're in spiritual times right now. And so in order to change collectively, we have to change ourselves. And a lot of us have trauma, and a lot of us have, outdated ways of thinking because of that trauma. And so a clearing is actually what happens in order for us to become aware. So the relationship that's playing out, which I don't think that this person is saying this, I think that the universe is saying, don't be afraid. Yes, you're going to be triggered. You're supposed to be triggered because what you're experiencing is a clearing, and you can't clear anything that you're not aware of. That's the whole point, that the emotions are the gateway to spiritual healing. So when you're connected to someone that you're like, fuck you, you don't deserve to be forgiven. And I'm pissed off because you ignored me. You didn't care about me. It was one-sided. You knew it was unfair. And, and I say something to you and you put the blame back on me like it's a big joke because you know that I care, because you like the person felt that they could. That's why they acted like that. Well, it's that anger is something that you're supposed to look at because there's clearing. Thing is, when you disconnected from this person, they didn't think you were going to do that. So that's why I think that this person is like now hostile, because they're like, well, you just won't let it go. Like, just get over it. I know I need to release attachments with karmic people. I've created a plan to leave him or her. So some of them are actually holding on to people. And so maybe some are not love romantic people, but just people, but creating a plan to leave him or her is not really a good thing. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you got to tell the person straight head on. If like a plan sounds like you're strategizing. And so this person, like I said, is an avoidant. And they're avoidant in like dealing with things head on. They don't want to do that. And so again, they're seeing signs and synchronicities like your name, 111, and working out what they mean. So again, their intuition, they still feel that spiritual connection. And it's because again, this person, I didn't even feel like there was a person. So if there's a person, that person is there, but the relationship was over a long time ago, and it's just kind of like a thing of convenience, where again codependency is that lets this person stay in a lower vibration, which again allowed them to live very unfair. Remember, they were connected to you, and if they had someone else there, but they weren't, again, partying and everything was one-sided, this gave this person this persona that they were really something like hot to trot, is what I feel. And the fact that you disconnected from this person, what you're saying is you're not. And so again, they are now forced to be in that connection that there's no passion. Remember, they're codependent, but codependent, they're not, whatever they're bringing to the table, it's definitely not the emotion. It's like the person that was connected to them was doing all the work. And the reason why is because they don't and understand this person doesn't really feel deserving, and it affects their levels of openness and abundance. So again, they don't really feel good enough about themselves. So that, I mean, did they know that that's why they, have this codependent person that they were feeding off of, and now they're planning on getting out of that, because now you've detached, where you're like, listen, I didn't even know you were fucking dealing with the person over there. Fuck you. It's like you want me to like forgive. It's like I didn't volunteer for that. It's like we're going to ask why this person decided to do that. But in their thing, it's like they feel like you're not going to like this, but you feel that they're going to come back to you because they have feelings. They have feelings for you. But they have to do healing. I've hurt you and I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me and understand I was reacting from fear. Yeah, because they're in a situation that they weren't transparent with you really about, because how they see it is that's not really even a relationship. It's like, which isn't nice to say about a person, because that person feels like they're in a relationship with them. So again, but they were getting something out of it. And that was, again, to be on a low vibration, to be able to do what the fuck they wanted to do when they wanted to do it. And if they could make you go along with it, well, oh, this person is really like thinking who they are, and understand you're not doing it, definitely makes this person look at themselves, and then also look at the person that they're with. And the person that they're with, is like a wet towel, like puts up with anything and everything. That's not really like a relationship. It's like, it's like this person doesn't like respect that person. They take advantage of that person. They utilize that person, but it's like they're like there's no passion there, and they've made them in that person into that person. That's the irony. And they would have tried to make you into that person too, but you were like, I'm not doing that. You're not all that. And now this person is accessing past life wisdom and is helping them understand things with a new perspective. And like your energy from them is stagnant. You're not doing anything. It's driving them bonkers. So if you're not really talking to them, if you're not giving them the energy, if you're pretending that nothing's happening, whatever. So this person like is normally would like start an argument or start a fight to get the energy to flow again, to not be transparent. But the thing is, you're in separation, and that's so this person's like thinking about that, like, how can it's almost like it would be easier if they found a way to come back and like bump into you and then just start an argument, because this person again doesn't really want to be transparent. They don't really want to have to like talk about like what they did, because what they did makes them sound like an asshole. But at the time, they were only thinking about themselves. I'm not really in a relationship. That person doesn't. It's like, but no one would go for that. And when this person lets themselves go deeper into thought of you, they can feel their heart opening because there is a heart connection there. And understand that's a big deal because this person shut down their heart a long time ago to be in that connection that they're in. Okay? So it's just what it is. Separate or together, we're working in tandem with each other. I think that this person just can feel like that you have anxiety, you're mad, this person feels that way. And again, they know that they know that the universe works in mysterious ways, but they judge this situation. So even though they have feelings for you, it's hard for them to surrender to it too. And that's actually what you're like. You're like, well, you're not surrendering to it. But understand what's going on the inside is that they're going through a dark night of the soul. Nothing in their life is making sense. And the reason why is because they're also not happy, because the karmic people that are in around them, so whether that's their family or that pet karmic or whatever, whoever that is, again, is like this person doesn't have like control over their life. It's understand, and their situations are playing out like, and it's really hard for them to like see a way out of their situation because they've lost themselves and they're codependent. They usually ask other people for advice, and I think that this person did ask people for advice, but they got wrong information, bad information. And so again, they need to learn not to listen to other people. So they're just not strong within themselves. And so here it is, by their persona. When you met this person, they gave off the persona like, again, they were the shit. Again, really confident. But what you know, but what you but what you know is this person is not strong at all. They're like extremely weak and they needed the attention, and they were getting attention from different resources while still having somebody like at home that was kind of like the maid that they weren't thinking was anything, like that had a whole other thing going on there, yeah. So it's crazy. And so, and then now this person feels like, again, they're coming back, whether you like it or not, because it keeps saying it. It's like, it would, like, no matter what, I'm like, so you might be, they're delusional. And they are, this person has gotten away with it. Karmic people, like, listen, they want to get out of that situation. Why do they want to get out of that situation? Because people are controlling them. Why do people want to control them? Obviously, because they don't do what they say that they're going to do. If they're like in a connection, but they're pretending that they're single, it's like they can't be a player anymore. They can't run around. And so now they're stuck with that wet towel that has given up their life. And they're like, I don't want to stay here. Now they're looking at you. You're looking at them like, oh, you think you're coming back to me? It's like, oh, no. But Spirit says you don't need to take the person back, but you do need to forgive. And it's like, fuck them. Like there's still a little bit of that there, because it's like you're acting all hostile, like you didn't do anything wrong, like you don't understand. You want to like flip the switch. This person doesn't know how to act. It's like they're not strong within themselves. They know what they did. They just think, we'll ask why they think that it's okay to come back, but we'll see what they were dealing with. Yeah, like it doesn't make sense, but understand it's when you gave that much and you cared that much and you really, like I said, that's why you have to forgive, because there's a part of you that's like, I don't really want to forgive. They don't deserve it. And I am really having a hard time forgiving them. And so that it means that, like, on some level, you thought that you were going to be with them, obviously, and then meanwhile they had a whole other thing going on there that they weren't finished with, like. And then who wants to be the person that they run to? Nobody wants that. So you didn't see everything that was going on. You didn't see, like, again, that this person kept the relationship turbulent, because I feel like they always thought that they were getting out of that situation. But when it came down to it, did they have the guts to do it? No. So they didn't want to miss their chance. So again, they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. Again, because that's what would have happened. Because it's like, well, I'm comfortable here. And it's not really a relationship. It's like, again, which this person knows damn well no one would go for that. And so it also makes you look bad, but this person has a lot of spiritual blocks, just past experience. Like, again, the relationship that they're in at one time was a good relationship, and now it's a shit relationship that there's no love, there's no anything, there's no whatever. So they're like, they think that relationships tend to go that way. So it's almost like, why do I have to get out of this situation to be in a situation with you to have the same thing, which, by the way, is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's laziness. But again, this person's insecure, like they're not strong. Now they're being controlled by people, because the people are like, oh, you think you're going to run around now? You want to leave now? Oh, no, you're not leaving. But you want to run around with other people? That was okay before, but now it's not going to be okay either. Now you're not allowed to do anything. And that's what I feel like what happened with this person. Like, their situation wasn't. Yeah, because again, there's no passion with this person and whoever on both ends. And it's because, intimacy issue, trust. A long time ago, that trust, like, got ruined. And the thing is, here it is, you're looking at this person and now it's ruining it for you, because you're like, so this person doesn't really believe that they can have love, remember? So they never expected for you to be like, ew, because that's what's happening. You're starting to be like, wait a minute, like, this is who you are? Like, this is who you are? And it's like, and so that's the biggest fear, that you would be like, ew, that just kind of flipped over. So we have to take it. And what we see again, love blocks. So it's like, this person doesn't really even believe that they can have love. So they have a lot of issues. They're not honest. And so again, they have a lot of like bad, like, core beliefs around relationships. So they just create too many barriers in relationships, but it's where they need to have the upper hand. Here it is. It's like they're creating a situation where they can have this false inflated ego. But because, listen, I'm going to have this person at home taking care of all my needs. And then I'm going to have you over here, and then everybody wants me. There is that. It's like, so really this person is fragmented about how they feel about themselves. And then you see that because, again, now they're not living their best life. Where's their life? They don't own their life. That karmic owns their life. Karmic's like, you feel like hell, you're not going fucking anywhere. You think you're going somewhere? And that's why this person's like, it was okay when I could run around and, talk to other people. But now that you want me to do this, and why all of a sudden you want me to do this? And the karmic's like, well, you think you were going to go somewhere else? It's like, if you're going to go somewhere else, you can do that for me. It's look at everything that I did for you. Look at what I did for you. So it's like, it's not even love. It's you owe me because I did so much for you. And I've been here and I've carried this entire relationship. You should love me. But the person's like, I don't love you. It's like, you did all that. I didn't tell you to do all that. It's like it gave you a purpose. I never wanted that. You inserted yourself. So it's again, it's a very toxic thing that they have going on over there. And that's why this person was looking at you, being like, well, I don't want to miss my chance with you. So I'm going to lie. I'm not going to tell the whole truth. It's not going to work out anyway because it doesn't work out. Look at this fucking relationship. So understand, it's like now it's like this person, like they're like looking for a sign, they're looking for a sign, and it's almost like they just know that they can't come rushing in now and sweep you off your feet. Like this person would normally be like a very like surface, like come in and have a fling, and then keep you hooked. That's not going to happen. You see it all. And that's the issue, is like you see it all. And where this person is like, it would have only worked if it didn't. So we'll say again, how does this person feel about you now? It goes from, it says it again, I'm conflicted about whether I have what it takes to be your partner. Literally, that card came sliding out. So it's again, they don't really feel deserving. They miss you, but they're not confident to like do what it takes to actually fix the connection, is what I see. It's like they have to have it so that it's like this because of how they feel. Because guess what? I'm going to get rid of this person. You're going to be with me. And then guess what? You're not going to want to be with me. You're going to reject me. And that's what they fear. And so instead of them working on themselves, this is what they do. And so, are they going to ever do anything at all? Anything at all? They check on you from afar. They still have sexual fantasies about you. So again, that connection in the 5D is still strong. So if you're like, well, I know this person is still thinking about me because I can feel them. I'm not crazy. Well, yeah, they're keeping it in the 3D but the reason why they don't come to you is because, hey, there's still somebody hanging on to their energy. They're figuring out a plan to get out. They don't have any sexual feelings about that person. So again, they let that person again take care of other things, but they don't want to be with that person. And so the truth of the matter is they still have growing to do. And really, this person, like, they don't know what they want because they tend to give into temptation a lot. And that's really what happened. But are you that person of their dreams? Yes. And you say, well, how is that? Because listen, if in a perfect world, this person get married and have like kids and a family and all that, you'd be that person. However, this person has monogamous issues. They have spiritual issues around love and around self-worth, really, because the codependent relationship that they're feeding off of right now, that they're like, I don't want to be there. I pretend that I'm not even in a relationship. That person pretends that they're like single. It's like, and that's why that karmic is finally like, fuck you. Like you think you're gonna leave here? Oh no, I own your ass. Like it's like where this person's like, I'm being controlled now. Now they're the victim, but were they the victim? They weren't the victim. That's what you know. And so it's almost like, understand too, you're not helping this person get out of their karma. You're not saying, oh well, you can come here, you can stay here. You're over doing your own thing. And so, which is what they were afraid of. Remember, they lied so you wouldn't be able to move on. So that's bothering them now, but they know that they can't fix this. They know that this is the end. They know it because of what they did. It was a one-sided relationship. They were hoping that you would be jealous and possessive. But now I feel like this person's jealous. I feel like they're the ones that are stuck on you. They're stuck in a whatever the fuck that is until they get out of that. But their mind and their emotions, which is understand what that karmic is driving them crazy, because they're like, I'm the one doing everything, and you're like, you're checked out. You're here, but you're not here. It's like, and I see it. So now I'm gonna make you start doing shit for me. Where this person now all of a sudden, just like I said, now they're like, oh, this isn't right. The injustice, where it's like the injustice for you. And that's why it's spirit saying that they're getting theirs. Trust me. So you have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? Because you're a mirror of whom, what comes into your life. That's not saying that you're like shady. There's only two energies, love and fear. So if you're not living your best life, and let's just say you're holding on to anger, and that could be family, situation, then we'll tend to attract same experiences. Or if we don't feel safe, or if we're not feeling really fulfilled in our life, passion-wise. Let's just say, my life is boring. Just go to work, come home, have a few friends, but life is boring. That's out of balance. That's considered out of balance by the universe's standards. Because the universe's energy is unconditional love. You are made up of spirit, which is the universe, and that energy is unconditional love. It's the energy that's inside of you. Spirit is breath, it's prana, it's chi, it's spirit, it's ubiquitous. And so it's what gives us that life force. So understand, when we have spiritual blockages, it's like it makes it very difficult for us to even have a lot of energy. It will affect us physically. Being connected to a person like this would definitely create like where your energy would be like, so you'd be so tired because they have so many blockages. They would give it to you. And so we look and we say, why did you attract this person into your life? You're a mirror of what comes into your life. So what is the energy? Is the energy that you went through as a young person. So we see here as neglect. That's 1. 2 is crafts and creativity. Then there's friendship. I hate this card because we see that kid is not really a nice kid. And then optimism. I think that's a really positive card. Anchor. Physical touch. So what we see here is, again, that the neglect, I think, was like emotional support. And so again, and it could have been from your dad, it could have been like for some, but there was also this that sense of being like anchored, like is what gives us the ground, the root. The root is our connection to the physical body, the physical world, the physical elements of the physical world. It's how grounded we feel within ourselves. And if we, didn't get that emotional support, we tend to not be as grounded as we should be as little people, because we needed that. So we would then, go looking for it outside and be optimistic, but we would look for our friends to do it. And so what would happen is we would wind up attracting the same type of energy, where maybe it was more like a frenemy. We always had like a friend, but that friend that would always give a little dig, would always like, smirk a little bit when things wouldn't work out. Like you had to actually question, is this my friend? Or is this a person that they're not really happy for? And for some of you, it was a friend that was more like my mother's best friend's kid. And so we grew up. And so we weren't really friends. We were friends because our parents were friends, and so it was more of a competitive type thing than it was a friendship where you're like don't tell Nancy, or don't tell Brian, about my bad grade, or that person did that. Is like, because you had to watch, because a friend wasn't really a friend. It's like, in having that around and then not having the emotional support from family, again, it's intensified as kids when we have like scenarios play out where like a friend like all of a sudden isn't a friend, or a person turns on us or like bullies us, and then we don't have that support at home. We don't feel safe. And then what happens is we try and be optimistic, right? But sometimes we're too optimistic. We see people as how we are and not really as people are. And then we also get hurt. So I feel like that happened where then you didn't really feel safe. But there was also this element of, if you had a hobby or an interest, something like crafts and creativity is again that energy where we escape into. And again, if really we had that, friend that wasn't really a friend and we just wanted to spend more time by ourselves, I feel like that you were able to entertain yourself, but maybe you didn't put enough time into that craft and creativity because, hey, well, the friend was around more time. And the reason why I say that is, how do prodigies become famous? They become famous and because they become excellent at what they do, because they started to do whatever they did at like 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, which means it takes a long time to manifest what you want to manifest. So I feel like even though you were neglected, which understand that's never a positive thing, you had to keep yourself entertained. So you were able to entertain yourself through whatever this craft or hobby or interest was. It was like you well, like it could be anything from like I would like to always to make like clothing. Like I feel like some of you like I used to like make clothing like Barbie doll clothing. I used to like go work at the pet store. I used to again whatever the hobby, the interest, whatever, but you did it a lot. And so that becomes like makes a way where there actually is no way just for you. But if you didn't, like if you gave a lot of time to it but still not enough time to actually for it to bloom into something, because remember it's how much time, energy, focus, and money you put into something, how much love you pour into something that gives it life, that's birth something. So again, if you looked for that, outside of you, which looked like from time to time you did, well then you weren't as consistent with creating whatever it was that you wanted to enhance whatever that talent was, or that you didn't give it enough. So spirit says that what you do to transmute that negative energy is first and foremost acknowledge what you have already overcome in life. So again, if you didn't have that emotional support, you didn't have that ground and you gave it to yourself, well, let's say you're a pretty strong person, you know that's number one. And that you have actually limitless potential, that the only limit are you at this point. So if you grew up where, again, you were neglected and again, you didn't get that emotional support, Spirit says, I know you would like to have someone right there clapping for you and rooting it on and pouring into you, but I'm not going to give you that. And you're like, well, why not? Because the Spirit says, because you think you need that. And you really don't need anything outside of you. It's again, so you have limitless potential. You have to believe in yourself. It's again, and you have to just go for it. You have to ground, because what it might seem like is, well, people don't really want to see me do better. And Spirit will say, no, well, everybody plays a role. And if you're like, people are comfortable with seeing you every day the way that you are, and even if you're not happy, people don't like the change, because then they have to look at themselves and then they have to do work. And so if you better your life, well, then the other unhappy people that don't want to change their life because it's uncomfortable to change, well, then it's even more uncomfortable because you did it. So Spirit's saying it's like surround yourself with people that are going to support you, love you, guide you, cheer for you. And again, a lot of times when you're doing what you love and you're feeding what you love, well, that's when you're going to meet the people that are also helping you to sustain yourself, to keep that cup full. And so Spirit says, because it matters, like how much support you have and how consistent you'll be. And you can create that support for yourself. You don't need anything outside of you. You know, you'd be surprised. The majority of people that clap for you when you succeed are people that you don't even know. It's like there's Bobby. He's got a tooth and a half in his head and a half a brain cell, and he shows up every week clapping for me. And there's Martha. She talks the entire time. But she's always like cheering me on the most, bringing people onto my platform. She's crazy. She just got out of the mental hospital, but you know what? She has a good heart, and she's like, found something that she liked, and it's going to be those people that you're like, I don't even know this person. Like, this person, it's ever that I post up in there, though they're always liking my stuff. I don't have to do anything, but they're just always, leaving those comments on my, oh, that's such a wonderful thing that you wrote, or that was such a, where you're like, your friends, they're not even going to look at it. Your family, might skim by it. I mean, for those lucky ones, you guys will have like your sister, like my sister's my best friend. I can post anything and they'll like it. Where, but the majority, no, it's people that you don't know. Maybe like 1/3 is family. Again, learning how to be vulnerable, being open to healing your faults is true strength. Embrace your authenticity. That sometimes it's our faults that become our greatest teachers, number one, but number two can lead us to really our soul's path. So being vulnerable, really, especially when you didn't get the physical and the emotional support, that's a very hard task to integrate, by the way, because it's like, listen, I've been rejected. I want to be vulnerable. And Spirit says you become the energy of love. And again, you're vulnerable through that vehicle, not through, let's have a love affair. Vulnerability first starts with, relationships that are not as deep, because trust is something that's acquired over time. It doesn't happen. So we don't want to look at it from a person that we just met and we happen to like, because that's putting a lot of pressure on that person. It's like, remember, unconditional love. There is no expectation. There is no ownership. It doesn't mean that you tolerate a person cheating. What it means is my cup is full. I sustain myself. I don't need you to sustain me. If you're going to give to me, it's that it's going to not be codependent. You're giving to me from the heart. You're giving to me. But you can't get that unless you know how to do it yourself, is what Spirit's saying. It's like, and you wouldn't know how to do it yourself if you weren't allowed to be vulnerable. If you weren't allowed, like, because you were seeing, like, you felt rejected. You felt, like it wasn't reciprocated, you know. But we're going to continue to get those karmic lessons over and over and over again until we learn them. That's what a karmic loop is. It's like, it's the same thing. It's just different people. It's the same experience, which is what solidifies that core belief, which is like, no, this really is what happens. And Spirit says, yeah, but you're the main equation. So do something different. It's, again, it goes back to infinite possibilities. Like, this person you were never even supposed to be with. This person's like karmic. It's like, you be with this person, they too emotionally can't give to you. It would be the same exact shit. They wouldn't give you anything because they can't. Because they can't do it for themselves. They're like in codependent land. So unless you were going to be that person that was codependent and like take that person's place, which you don't want to do that, then the relationship wouldn't even be able to sustain itself. And that's what this person knows. And Spirit says, you're not supposed to get that. It's like, what, you want to settle for less? Should I show you what less looks like? This is what less looks like. when meanwhile you can have whatever it is that you want, infinite possibilities. You're like, no, I can't. Spirit says, why don't you feed the things that emotionally bring you? This is what's missing. I'm looking for the emotion. I'm looking for some passion. I'm looking for, and Spirit says, well, we look for the passion for life first. The things that stir up your soul, the things that make you lose time and space when you're just doing it because you love it. And you're like, holy shit, look, 2 hours went by. It's like, I didn't even feel like I was working. I didn't really even feel like I was, again, that's when you're co-creating. That's when you're become the master of whatever your craft is. That's when you're in the flow of the universe. Then the universe will bring you everything that you need to help you change the way the path unfolds, where God makes a way where there is no way, just for you, because the universe is part of God's energy, and the universe wants to just bring you back to your original energy, which is unconditional love. That's the energy that you're born. When you're born, you don't have perceptions of anything. You're just a clear palette of, like, there's no nothing. You're just clear. And Spirit says that's how you were until you were born into the family without, that didn't give you that emotional support. And then you had that friend that betrayed you. And so there was sense of, well, now I'm not strong, and emotionally I feel like I'm not safe to get that. And Spirit says you got to do it for yourself, then you'll get it. You got to become it to get it. It's like, and that's a wound where you don't believe you can get that, but you can get that. You got to give it to yourself, just through a different way. And then you meet like-minded people that create that support, and then you're not even looking because you're having such a good time. And that's when that person comes into your life. And then the key is not to abandon yourself, because Spirit says, again, now that you have that support, it's to stay there. Again, keep that support. The person can come into your life, but again, not every day. They have to work for it. You have to be like, I want to be in a relationship. Spirit says you can be in a relationship and also don't lose yourself. It's like, otherwise, it'll look exactly like what this person's in. Because they didn't have an identity. And that's why they're in a situation like, I'm with this wet towel. That's not really a person. Their life is my life. And I don't have a life because they're so controlling, because they don't trust me. Now, not your problem. It's like you don't trust them now either. And Spirit leaves off with one more. And that's why, again, it's like, it's about forgiving and letting go, and understand that would be Spirit saying, well, you needed to do that from childhood to begin with. You held on to that, which is, again, I can never emotionally get. No one ever looks at my feelings. No one ever cares about my way. It's like, it's always what's best for them. And Spirit says, you got to do it for you. We take out one more, and Spirit says balance. You find balance between each sphere of your life. Master of your daily life. You make time to nourish the spiritual and physical, and you bring love to your world by fulfilling the needs of your body and soul. We couldn't have gotten a better card, because Spirit's saying, it's like, when you're balanced, it means like you have time to work out, you have time for your friends, you have time for your hobbies and interests. And if you don't have any, that means you're not balanced. You have time for work, you have time for family and friends. And if you're not close with family, then you make that time for friends. And to grow your business, if you're in business, you network. And so it's where you're putting your time, because each sphere of life, you're going to meet people, and understand the universe works through what it is that you're doing to bring you people. So if you're loving on yourself, you're going to meet other people that are loving on themselves. So they're treating themselves well. And the focus is on what you're doing and where you're going and what you're creating. It's not on this person. It's like, yes, You can say, oh, I'm excited to have this person, but they're not the only thing on the menu. They don't deserve that, Spirit says. It's like in your haste of not getting that emotion, well, you really wanted to, so you gave this person like the star treatment and they didn't deserve it. That's why you're like, fuck them. Because it's like you knew exactly what you were doing. It was one sided because you're in a miserable connection. You're like, well, let me go over here. Doesn't matter what you want, that it's not, it's what I want. And so Spirit says that would have never happened if you were balanced because you wouldn't have been so close up to the picture. You were too close up to the picture that you didn't see the detail. And you didn't see the detail because emotionally you were like, this is what it was going to be. This is what I wanted it to be. This is what I thought it was going to be. And Spirit says, no. It's like you were imbalanced and you didn't know. And that's why that happened. It's like that person didn't even deserve it. It's like, and that's why they need to forgive. And that's the irony is that they're not happy. They're getting theirs. They're, you know, they would have been happy if you would have rescued them, you know, but they exposed themselves. So you actually dodged a bullet. And that karmic is saying, well, guess what? It's payday time. It's like you're going to pay the piper now. And they believe me, they're getting their karma. And so in the end, Spirit says everyone leaves the way that they need to. You're going to go off, infinite possibilities. You can have whatever you want. Why? Why would you pick this as an option? Spirit says, oh, because the objects look closer than they actually are. You're not, again, looking at it from a balanced place. So Spirit says you get balanced, you get a lot of other options. Once you get those other options, then I want you to compare those options to that. And then come back and tell me, Spirit, because you're going to say, why the fuck would I pick that? That person, I just got asked out by a chef that's cooking me dinner every night. I just got asked out by this actor that's taking me on all this stuff. I'm just got asked out for people that are living life. This person's not doing anything. They're with a wet towel because they're a wet towel. You know, I mean, they had no problem taking from this person and sustaining. And what were they doing? Were they creating their life? No, they were running around thinking who they were, which is nobody. So that's why Spirit says everybody gets theirs in the end. I'm going to leave it there. I'll read the comments now. Thank you for being here with me. And if you like the video, give me a like. Look at this fucking hair. My hair is like driving me crazy. I need a haircut, but I'm afraid to get a haircut down here in Florida. It's like I don't know any good hairdressers, and I've had a lot of bad hair experiences when I was a kid. You know, like again, my mother used to cut my hair really short, that pixie haircut, you know. I cut the pixie haircut, and then the stupid hairdresser, I want to find her to this day. And she was like, you should cut it above my ears. You know, that friggin' like mullet haircut. I feel like I had that for like 100 years. Not attractive. Not attractive at all. Like, and if I ever find that hairdresser, I swear I'll kill her to this day. No, I'm only kidding. Not very spiritual. Anyway, let's see. The owls are not what they seem. It's true, they're not. Thank you, Doy. And thank you, everybody else. And I will be back on tomorrow. Thank you, Kate. Thank you for booking your session with me and entrusting me to do your reading. You're awesome. You all are awesome. I love you guys. And I'll be back on tomorrow. Have a good night. Good night.